Hello, my name is Francisco Cobo, and I am the president of the European Demolition Association, EDA. On behalf of the association, I would like to thank all the attendees for your time and participation, hoping that the webinar will be useful. I would also like to thank the speakers for their time and dedication. Please note that during the session, only the speaker will be able to activate the camera and microphone. As attendees, you can participate and ask your question via chat. Before giving way to the speakers, I would like to introduce EDA in case any of you don't know us. The European Demolition Association, EDA, is a non-profit organization bringing together the activities of demolition, decontamination, and recycling. EDA welcomes the following stakeholders of the industry as its member: National Association of Federations, a specialized contractor from countries with and without a specialized association or federation, engineering or consulting companies working in demolition, decontamination, or recycling, and specialized DDR suppliers, manufacturers, dealers, etc. EDA carries out multiple activities related to the DDR industry to disseminate information of interest to all professionals. Throughout the creation of specialized working groups, EDA collects and produces documentation on topics of interest to this trade. This work is materialized in the elaboration of guides available in physical and digital format, which facilitates the diffusion and promotes the professionalization of the industry. The EDA Yearbook, the EDA Industry Report, Guide on Attachments, Career and End of Life of Industrial Facilities. Before COVID, and hopefully soon, EDA organizes every year some activities and events to get together the DDR industry from all over Europe to provide opportunities for networkings and to share knowledge, conventions, workshops, study tours, trade fairs. In addition, to adapt to the new digital times, EDA will also prepare video materials, interviews, informative videos, and online educations. EDA holds a webinar in live about the DDR industry. All webinars are published on video together with a conference book on our website. If you need more information, please do not hesitate to contact us throughout the contact information on the screen.
My name is Jose Blanco. I'm the Secretary General for the European Demolition Association, and I will be the moderator for today's session. So I kindly ask Mr. Daktylidis, Michail Daktylidis, to turn on the camera to say the welcome words on behalf of PEDMEDE. Please, Michail, the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you, Jose. The Pan-Hellenic Association of Engineers, Contractors of Public Works, PEDMEDE, is representing more than 2,500 entities in Greece and is the association that represents the Greek construction sector in the European institutions by being a statutory member of EEC, EIC, and lately EDA, EDA, and EDI. In the context of its mission, and following the requirements of the European Union for Green Deal, circular economy and sustainability, PEDMEDE has founded PEDMEDE ECO, a collective waste management system for excavations, construction and demolition waste. The primary objective of PEDMEDE ECO is the implementation of European and national policy for the circular economy and Green Deal, the compliance with the European directives and the national legislation, and to implement sustainability in all aspects of the construction ecosystem. Since excavation, construction, and demolition waste, which is one of the heaviest and bulkiest wastes, and has been recognized by the European Union as the waste system with priority management, it became a necessity for PEDMEDE ECO to deal with this waste stream that represents around 25 to 30% of all waste generated in the European Union. In Greece, Until recently, the management of these materials was fragmented, creating major problems for the environment due to their uncontrolled disposal. By founding PEDMEDE ECO, we are trying to implement our waste management policy that aims to reduce the impact of waste on the environment. The long-term goal is to manage waste production and use waste as resource. Among our goals is to achieve much higher levels of recycling and to minimize the extraction of additional natural resources, since the proper management of waste is the key element in ensuring the efficient use of resources, the circular economy, and the sustainable development of the Greek economy. In this direction, we believe that PEDMEDE ECO is the system that will ensure the implementation and compliance with the requirements of the European directives in order to increase the protection of the environment. To conclude, I would like to thank you for giving me the opportunity to present PEDMEDE ECO and the Erasmus project CD Waste Management, elaborated by the staff of PEDMEDE, that delivers a training tool in waste management community. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Daktylidis. Thank you. It's always good to have you here, and I know of your personal commitment with the topic. So thank you for being here today. We're now going to continue with the webinar, and I'm going to ask you to kindly turn off your camera, and the next speaker is speaking on behalf of the Greek government to turn on the camera. She is Mrs. Kalliopi Papadaki. Excuse me if I don't say any name in Greek correctly. So Mrs. Papadaki, if you can turn on your camera. There you go.
Thank you.
Perfect.
Hello, everybody. Good afternoon. Thank you very much for this opportunity to present some topics of our General Secretariat. It is very important to say that I'm here on behalf of Mr. Bakoyannis, the General Secretary of Urban Environment and Spatial Planning. And just a few words in the beginning of my presentation. We are in a very special moment where the topics, not only in our ministry, but I mean in the whole government system and in the construction sector, about the sustainability of urban areas are very, very high, especially now where we are the European Green Deal. So a few words about demolitions and the circular economy of the construction. We try to use sustainable materials, and in this way also demolition can be a part of these sustainable materials. Okay, for this presentation we use the article WDE, that means waste disposal of excavation. WDE producers calls the manufacturers or the contractors of technical and construction works, the suppliers of products of the construction sector, the local self-government organization, other public and private organization, and our owner of the project. Legislation of the management of excavation, construction and demolition waste, the management work, the system of supervision and control, the obligations of bodies, producers and managers, as well as the penalties that exist. All these are the liabilities of disposal excavators of demolitions. And now another article, CAMS, Collective Alternative Management Systems. The CAMS are the bodies responsible for the alternative management of the WDE in the area. are organized into companies that do not seek profit in any legal form or an individual of collective basis. They organize, coordinate, and supervise the entire process of construction and demolition waste management. We call it in Greece AEC, in order to prevent waste production and their alternative management. For example, the work of collection, transport, temporary storage, reuse, processing and utilization of CDU, so that the recycled or recovered materials are returned to buy. All this, of course, according to ministerial decision. This is the number of such a stadium. The systems aim in the collection of VDE from the construction site or spaces produced in order to be cancelled, channeled to the most appropriate alternative management solutions. Reuse or utilization, including recycling of collected materials, and in compliance with the requirements relating to protection of the environment and the health and safety of consumers and workers, in the system protection of industrial and commercial security rights, avoid trade barriers or distortion of competition for important products. What is the roadmap that all above have to follow? First, for private projects, submit to the town planning department a waste management plan and submit a bank letter of guarantee, 0.2% of the budget of excavation projects and 0.5% for demolition projects. Second, for public works, there should be a condition in the decision approving the environment condition of the project, or a condition in the contract for the assignment of project. Third, contact the property leasing collectors carriers. Fourth, to pay the processing fee to the system, either himself or through the collector carrier. And five, to submit the acknowledgement of receipt to the town planning department in order to return the letter of guarantee or to submit it in the supervising authority. What are the obligations of these managers? First, to be holders of collection transfer license in accordance with the ministerial decision 5910 of 2003, to have contracts with at least one approved alternative management of system of the WDV, facilitate the dismantling, reuse, utilization, and in particular the recycling of construction materials, to transport at regular intervals and the WDE and to deliver them to approved processing units or to approved areas of utilization or disposal with means of transport that have sweepable covers in order to prevent the dispersal of diffusion of the road, to issue the legal documents that accompany, to pay the processing fee to the system, receive the waste receipt from the system and submit it to the supervising authority. After all these few words, there are three central conclusions. That first, in our country, recycling rates are currently low and should be significantly improved over the next 15 years. Specifically, according to estimates, the recycling rate of VDE in Greece range between 12% and 15% in 2015. However, the local cement industry can process further quantities of aggregates from VDE, replacing limestone, and allow the recovery of larger quantities produced in Greece. And the Hellenic Recycling Organization, from which the above information mainly comes, is a competent body of the Ministry of our Ministry, the Ministry of Environment and Energy, for overall planning and implementation of the recycling policy in Greece. It is impossible for the approval of the National Alternative Management System, the product, as well as for the control of Greece's progress in the field of recycling. Therefore, it is also responsible for the issues concerning VDE in accordance with the objectives and general principles of Law 2939 from 2001 and the more specific legislation given below. Thank you very much for your attention. I will stay just for a few more minutes because I apologize, but I have to go back to the ministry. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Papadaki, if I say it correctly.
Mm-hmm. Yes, it's correctly. It's okay.
Thank you for the effort of the Greek ministry. For a lot of people that are listening to us, they probably don't know, but I remember already a couple of years ago, the Greek ministry came to Brussels trying to understand what was going on in other countries and how to adapt it to the nature of the Greek country and the Greek economy. So we know the public authorities in Greece are doing a positive effort to make this happen. So thank you for this. It's not only the private companies, but also the public administration. I have a lot of questions for you, but if you have to go, I will have to ask them to the rest of the speakers, like, why are the camps no profit? Because it should be circular economy, but I don't want to stop for the next speakers. Once again, thank you for participating, and we will continue in touch with you. And I invite now the next speaker to turn on the camera. Antonis Matsos, if I say it correctly. So Antonis, if you can turn on the camera, and now the floor is yours.
Thank you so much for having us here as well. My name is Antonis Matsos. I'm a chemical and environmental engineer from PEDMEDE ECO, a subsidiary of PEDMEDE, and actually a collective alternative management system, as Ms. Papadaki said in her previous presentation. So from our part, our focus is to become the guarantors of this process. So there is waste produced, there is processing units that go to process towards recycled goods, and there is all of the waste hierarchy methodologies and technologies available, as well as practices made by contractors, construction companies, demolition contractors, and everyone. So we are regulated to play a major role in between all of these two as a central unit of controlling the flows of waste from purposing over preventing it towards reusing on site, recycling, or other recovery purposes before allowing everything to end up on a landfill. So all this process focuses on the very important topic, which is, after all, the environment and how we respect and live with it in the best possible way. It is true the drivers are many. It is true that out of these drivers, mostly the most lubricative, accelerative forces that brought the torque to produce results worldwide, in Europe and particularly in Greece as well, are the most obvious, with the problem of resource scarcity, overusing, misusing, and mismanaging, which leads them to depletion, and as well as the potential economic implications of this in a future market, where the natural necessities for continuing to progress with all of these industrial activities as construction and all the rest, and urban development, are being challenged severely by the economic implication of the process of eliminating and ending in a status of resource scarcity. Now, Our purpose there is to take the European Green Deal and also the local domestic regulation and provide the best support, advisory, as well as control in the units and the contractors that work with us. We are, every contractor and every unit is enforced to work through a collective alternative management system. And all of this is fueling more accelerated direction towards improving the performance here in Greece as well, in order to meet European standards and follow the leaders of these practices in Europe. So with regards on the current status of city waste management in Greece, there is a very clear setting which gives us strength to work harder towards that direction. It brings stakeholders all together in a situation where they can work more effectively and more efficiently in bringing results. These parameters begin with the Greek Parliament passing a law effectively from July 2021, which actually unified previous legislation and embodied all the necessities from the latest European directives in 2018 and also the catalyst of 2008, I'm sorry, and strengthened the general regulatory ecosystem so that we can enact effective waste management in our part, and particularly in city waste management. And this is what gave fuel to our presence as well as a company, as a subsidiary of PEDMEDE. This as well enacted strictly waste hierarchy, which is a very effective way of progressing as well. There is a discussion over the 4 hours, the 5 hours, etc., etc. However, waste hierarchy, despite having still landfill disposal, when is applied strictly as by the European directives, it can produce results towards the next step. Now, additionally, we have here in Greece the Hellenic Recycling Agency, which being equipped by that, like increased and intensified, and accelerate all the change process, performing effective controls, cutting down decision times and bureaucratic delays significantly. Additionally, the Q&A process throughout the clarifications with regards on the legislation is faster than anything else before. Literally very quickly, like somebody can receive precise and efficient and effective responses by the Hellenic Recycling Agency. This, in turn, is fueling the contractors, the producers of waste, construction companies to rapidly adapt in this changing scene. So there is a reshuffling of resources with a purpose to further integrate new mandates efficiently and effectively, since this circular economy scheme has also its implications in the market, which coupled with a particularly strict and effective legislation produces opportunities and downsides as well for the ones that are difficult and find it unflexible to adapt. Now, on the other hand, all this situation nationwide opens the door for opportunities in waste processing units, new investment opportunities, and this potential. And we actually see it with processing units rising across the country, new ventures. We have contractors that they invest themselves to get into this process. All of these together, having us, the collective alternative management systems here in Greece, as a center for optimizing, supporting, advising, and playing the role of a catalyst towards the potentials of Greece meeting the targets of the best. And which are the best, by the way? We have the Netherlands, for example, and this is a general waste management figure from Eurostat regarding all materials. Many of you might be familiar about that. You know the circularity rate, which is which portion of them, of general raw materials, got into circular use process over the overall material use. We have, of course, the Netherlands leading there, which is always there since the beginning of the Lansing ladder. And we have Greece here, we see with 5.4% of it being entered in a circular usage process. And that's the road we have to cover. We have to cover because we would like to benchmark with the best and step by step to get there. And all together in Europe, we see generally how Europe is performing sufficiently. Nevertheless, for all of us, there is always space to improve. Now, more particularly, the current status of waste management in Greece. We are covering rapidly at the end construction and demolition waste management gap, which is here for other reasons as well. In Greece, we had the financial crisis, which inevitably, as well as for waste, left some difficulties over catching up the pace with the rest of the European countries. We see, however, here in another figure, again from Eurostat, how the adapting waste hierarchy towards the previous practices intensified from 2006 and 2018, which before, literally in Greece, had a really bad image, which was like, had as a root cause the impact of the financial crisis in Greece, investment, and new horizons, and the way they could be perceived before 10 years here. However, though, a rising performance trend is expected to further develop, since we have this latest regulatory intervention by the state, which clears out the horizon, sets up some specific directions for us to follow, literally develops institutionally current institutions and enhances them with and strengthens them with the means to be able to perform effectively. Also, the proportion, because here we see like proportions with regards on CD waste in total. The thing is that here we expect as well to have a higher proportion of backfilling and reuse on site, since this legislation, its mandates and its functionality creates a directive philosophy towards financially efficient and technically efficient ways of conduct, which inevitably directs the increase of backfilling and reusing on site. Also, recycling and merchandising raw material is expected to rise again, like enhancing these figures, which has to do with the expansion of operations in city waste management by new ventures, new processing units, and the desire of the market to enter in this process. And then last, landfill disposal towards that on the application of waste hierarchy is expected as well to be reduced, which is where we focus and where we target to produce better results. Now, on the other hand, what are the challenges though in Greece? Because many of you might like a lot Greece, it's summer and it's beautiful coasts and beaches, and as well we have mountains and valleys, which is beautiful. However, this creates a geography which particularly for waste construction and demolition waste management, processing units, the logistics behind moving waste currents from one provincial unit to another, creates this complexity. And this is, I believe, one of the major challenges here. on top of the fact that it's going to increase in flow and volume. And then another challenge is the further investment that is necessary to increase the capacity of all waste currents. And this has to do with waste currents on non-hazardous as well as hazardous materials, which are very rare in construction and demolition waste compared to other general waste currents in the industry. However, they exist there as well. So this is a big challenge to have like private initiative in further investing in waste treatment plants. Now, another important thing which has to do with this webinar is also the VET programs that need to support effectively the education of all personnel and contractors, as well as waste producers, for managing particularly LCA topics and usage, as well as best practices in construction sites, in demolition sites. And this, I will pass it on later to my colleague, Paraskevi Angelakopoulou, that she will dive further into it. Now, to keep up with that, new technology and innovation topics need to be diffused in the construction sector as well. And this has to do with all the preliminary tasks that need to be done to optimize the prevention phase in the waste hierarchy. Again, there, initiatives are being taken here in Greece as well from many stakeholders and many parts, us as well. And we expect that in due time we will communicate and we will produce results from realizing the benefits of best practices for all stakeholders. Now, we know that construction and demolition waste can be recycled. We know that there is a big opportunity. We know that this can conclude to effective and profitable commercial activity for waste processing units. It can conclude into a better future design future from the beginning for contractors by being able to optimize their operating costs, optimize their costs of supplies by knowing how they would plan from the beginning, from the engineering phase, from the construction site preparation phase, from the construction phase itself. We know that everybody can benefit from this process, and the right information is there, and the right directions are there, and the right instruments are there, as well as the enhancement of Europe as a whole is there. And we are here to allocate these and proceed with sessions and advisory actions and processes to all our stakeholders, as well as other stakeholders in Greece to do the same. Now, there are many best practices that can be distinguished. Here, I have some slides taken by a later research paper by Galvez Martos et al. In Greece, out of these best practices, there are those as well that they are prescribed directly by the legislation as waste management strategies and management plans, as economic instruments through the price listing of the collective alternative waste management system. There is site waste management plans enacted, and they are being performed everywhere, and this is for quite a while there as well. And then there are all of these practices that are expected to be enhanced and progressed in process due to the functionality of the new, for the purpose of achieving functionality of practice and conduct according and abiding to the new law from last July. Now, innovation is something necessary there, and innovation has to come from all available parts. There are steps being made, like from
Perfect. Thank you, Antonis, for your presentation. And as you said, now we kindly ask Paraskevi to turn on the camera. Paraskevi, are you there? Oh, there you go. And
I am here. Thank you, Jose. First of all, let me thank you for your attendance here and for your interest in joining this webinar. Thanks again, EDA and Jose Blanco, for organizing and supporting the organization of this event. I would like to take the floor from a previous speaker and link this event with the skills needs generated by this transition to the circular economy. And when we talk to circular economy in the construction sector, we mainly focus in the construction and demolition waste management. So reskilling and upskilling construction workers in the sector in the area of city waste is of major importance, and this is something that we PEDMEDE envisioned some years before. So we drafted a proposal, we promoted an initiative that took a form of an EU project in order to train, let's say, and update the training provision of city waste management. So this is a very, very significant challenge to keep people in the sector with up-to-date skills and knowledge. So in short, I will present you the city waste management project framework in order to bring you closer to the project's output and and have useful information about it. The project, as I told before, is about an Erasmus Plus project. It is already in progress. It is going to be accomplished by the end of this year. And we are a European consortium that are involved in this project. We have France, Greece, Portugal, Italy, Spain, and Romania. It is a combination of partners with several backgrounds in order to bring their knowledge, their capacity and experience in the area of city waste management for training. So the overall objective of the project is to promote VET for workers on construction sector by addressing modern and training needs in accordance with EU priorities regarding current construction and demolition waste management rules and circular economy. The point is to develop a modern and innovative e-training VET program based on vocational open online course tailored to labor market needs and targeted to bridge the skills gaps and shortages in the area of seed waste management. All in all, we're trying to bring some results that are categorized, let's say, in four main areas. By the beginning of the project, we developed an industry-driven analysis and best practice handbook aiming to investigate the forward-looking skills in demand for the city waste management field. You can navigate through this survey, through this analysis, through the project website. You can see it here. It is already completed and entails input and feedback regarding all the countries involved, along with European key conclusions. So after that, we implemented, let's say, the city waste management curricula with a stimulated work-based learning component. It is actually a training material available that will be available in all languages of the countries involved that I mentioned before. All this material is going to be projected to be provided through an online training platform. You can have access to the platform through the project website. And of course, by the last phase of the project, we have to pilot, execute, and demonstrate the training program. The training activities are going to take place in the forthcoming months. We can keep you informed through the EDA website, through the project website, and through following PEDMEDE developments on projects. Before going on in the detail of the training content of the program that is developed through the project, I'm going to give you a short overview of the current legislation in city waste management in Greece. That is also included in the training material and the training program. I will be brief since the main points of the legislation were referred by the previous speakers, by Ms. Papadaki and by Adonis Bazos. So in short, the most recent regulation regarding the policy framework for waste management, according to circular economy requirements, launched through the previous year through a ministerial decision. It embodies and comply with the EU legislation on the topic, and there are many. The main, let's say, priority axes are prevention of waste, preparation for reuse and recycling, measures for protecting the environment and human health, preventing waste generation, reducing the negative effects of waste generation and management, and increasing recycling, reducing the overall impact of resource use and improving efficiency, and the role and the operation of the Hellenic Recycling Agency. These are in short the priority axes of this plan. Of course, the plan includes the legislation framework includes definition of what is waste, what is construction demolition waste, excavation, construction, demolition waste, and provides an hierarchy of waste, which is first of all prevention, then preparation for reuse, recycling, other types of recovery, and then disposal. There are also provided in the legislation specific lines and specific guidelines and rules about the city waste. In a nutshell, city waste the framework establishes selective demolition of all types of construction and obligation for separate selection of at least the following kind of materials that are included in construction waste. Priority is placed in maximizing the use of city waste management for the project needs on public or private project or activities, and in managing city waste within the project site, and also the management of the excavation material to be done according to the provisions of other environmental conditions, frameworks, etc. I won't go in detail into this. You can review afterwards the slide or get back to us for any clarification. And of course, it is the National Waste Management Plan, which is a policy and an action plan, the policy framework that addresses the scope and the targets for the period 2020 to 2030 for Greece. Several priorities are set there, defining what will be the next steps and the roadmap for the waste management plan in Greece. Getting back, this is this is about alternative waste management systems. I'm not going to be in detail about it because Ms. Papadaki presented that. The objective overall is the management of city waste, of construction works, and the implementation of management operation, maximizing the quantities of recycled and recovered city waste, and the organization and coordination of alternative management operations. This is a short link with what PEDMEDE ECO does. So I will get back to the training material of the city waste management program. All in all, the methodology that this training is based is going to be provided online through an asynchronous training provision. All training modules include assessment tests per module to test the knowledge and skills obtained. It follows a logic and a sequence of self-study. And also, there are going to be introduced work-based learning for selected participants. As I said before, the languages that will be provided is the languages of the project, of the partners involved in this project: English, Greek, French, Italian, Spanish, and Romanian. And also, audiovisual material is included in the training content. The estimated duration, including, of course, self-study and all this stuff, is about 80 hours. I'm going to present you in brief the training modules. We have 4 training modules. The first one is presenting the regulations applicable to the city waste management area, both in national level and in European level. Then we have the second module, which is with a total duration of 30 hours, about waste management on site. The main learning units are the properties of waste and its classification, audit pre-demolition, quantitative and quality aspects of inner waste, waste management planning on-site compliance in the management and recycle of city waste, and selective demolition and city waste recovery. These are, in short, the units that are analyzed all over this module. The third module has to do with construction and demolition, waste management and recycling. There are presented waste treatment activities on-site in different processes, requirements for procedure for on-site reuse and recycling of inert materials from city waste activities, selected demolition and recycling plan, cost and benefits, and recovery procedures. And then the last one, it is about the life cycle assessment, building materials, and environmental sustainability, including 4 units that have to do with environmental damage due to non-recovery of waste from city waste, objective and strategy for a low-impact construct on-site environmental effects, and economic and social consideration that must be considered for the selection of sustainable products, and material selection with the LCA method. This is, in short, of course, the presentation of the content of the training programs. I will share my screen in order to present you in short the structure and how it looks like in the training platform. So you can see here the training session. Here is in detailed all the modules and the training material. I'm not going to navigate in detail, just to give you an overview of what to expect through this training material. You can see here the combination of knowledge, skills, and competencies acquired through the unit, theoretical approach with several detailed audiovisual material, videos, and some icons and pictures to demonstrate better and be more comprehensible by the trainee. Several material and with depicting, let's say, all the necessary stuff about the unit, and also there are provided some practical approaches and training parts in the form of case study to be more effective to learners in order to get engaged with the training content.